vegan outreach, it's amazing. It's an amazing form of animal rights activism. But I think as vegans, we have to upgrade, we have to level up, we have to become more effective as vegan animal rights activists, and we have to start using better strategies to help people go vegan. As in, basically, if you don't know what vegan outreach is, basically it's a wonderful form of animal rights activism. It's usually happens out in the streets, but you don't have to. It doesn't just have to happen out in the streets. You can do vegan outreach at home, where you invite a few friends to your own house, basically, and you teach them about veganism. That's also a form of vegan outreach. But basically, vegan outreach, the mainstream vegan outreach, or the most well-known form of vegan outreach, is where we do activism. We do street activism, where we usually standing in town, teaching about veganism and animal rights, and sharing sharing our journeys, and teaching people about what's happening in the meat and dairy industry, basically. And what we do sometimes, we share food, we share flyers, we have conversations with people. It's an amazing form of animal rights activism. And basically, but what I think is we have to level up, because we talk to, as vegan activists, we talk to hundreds, as in globally now, this is globally. We talk to, hundreds of thousands of people all over the world, But basically, how do we know that those people actually went vegan? As vegan activists, we can be in town, whether we're sharing vegan food, or sharing vegan knowledge, or sharing vegan flyers, or if we're showing vegan movies, or if we're showing slaughterhouse footage, basically, when we have conversations with people, how do we know that, if we have a conversation with someone for, let's say we talk to them for 30 minutes, for 10, 20, 30 minutes, maybe even, 45 minutes, maybe even up to an hour, when we're talking to this person, and then we let them go, how do we know that? And then, maybe, we give them some vegan information, we direct them to Challenge 22, maybe, we share some website links with them. But how do we know that that person actually, decides to go into these links? How do we know if we give a flyer to someone? Just a simple example now. If we give somebody a flyer, how do we know that that person, doesn't walk for 5 minutes and then throw away that flyer? How do we know that these people that we've talked to actually consider going vegan after leaving us? We talk to hundreds of thousands, as in globally, as a global vegan movement. We talk to probably millions, as in over the years. I've been an activist for 6 years. I've been vegan for almost 9 years soon. But basically, over all these years, for all these years, all the thousands and hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions, as in globally as vegan activists, all the millions of people we've talked to. How do we know that these people actually decided to go vegan? How do we know this? That's what I'm saying. We have to have a strategy in place for, let's say we talk to someone in town, and then we talk to them for 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, doesn't matter. We talk to them we share our journey with them. We share information with them about animal rights activism. We show them, slaughterhouse footage, and then we send them off, or they go off on their own, they go off on their day, they leave us. And then we give them a flyer or whatever, and then we give them some information about veganism, and we share some links with them. But then how do we know that that person actually decided to go vegan after that? Or how do we know that that person considered going vegan? We've talked to millions, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people. How do we know that after talking to these people, when they went home, how do we know that they even, kept veganism in their mind? How do we know that they even remember us after leaving? I want you to just imagine this scenario, okay? You're walking in town, and this happens all the time when I'm in town anyway. I meet people who want to talk to me about, I don't know, different things, political things. People, they want to talk to you, and they want to share their political ideologies or their religious ideologies. But, you yourself, you might stand there for, 2-3 minutes and then listen, and then, act like you want to listen. But then when you leave, 5 minutes later, you have forgotten about that. And that's what I'm saying. Imagine this scenario now. You're walking in town, and then basically you meet a group of people. We're just going to say they're Christians. They can be Muslims, they can be Jehovah's Witnesses, they can be salesmen, they can be whatever. But then you talk to them, you yourself, you don't actually really want to talk to them. You want to go to buy your food or go shopping or whatever. You have your own business basically to do. You have your own agenda for the day. So, you meet this person, you meet these group of people in town, and then they stop you, and then, you're in a hurry. You want to go somewhere else. Maybe you're not even in a hurry, but, you stop for a few minutes and you listen and you start talking and, you start listening, and maybe it even interests you. But then, when you leave after 5 minutes, when you leave that group, when you continue on about your day, after 5 minutes, you've forgotten everything that person has said. As in, that happens to me anyway. When I'm in town and if I meet a Christian group or whatever, I don't want to be rude or anything. So I stop, I listen for a few minutes. But then when I leave, when I leave that Christian group in town trying to recruit, Christians, basically, or trying to recruit people to Christianism, basically, to Christianity, basically when I leave, after 5 minutes, I've forgotten everything that person has said, So no, but seriously, you forget, you might stand there, listening, and everything, acting like you're interested. You might even be interested. But then, after 5 minutes, when you go home, you've forgotten that person, you've forgotten anything that person has said to you. Even, the flyers, Christians, they give you flyers, you might take a flyer from them or whatever, or political parties or ideologies, you take their flyers, but then, after 5 minutes, you probably throw that flyer, So, we have to have some kind of, strategy, people, how do we know that the people we have been talking to for all these years and, for years to come when we're in town doing vegan outreach, how do we know, that these people actually considered going vegan after talking to us in town? We have no idea, we have no strategy. We send them to Challenge 22. We send them to, vegan websites. How do we know that they actually decide to go to visit these websites? How do we know this, So basically, no, but we have to have we have to level up, as vegan activists. And this is actually serious, how, we have to have some kind of strategy in place for when we talk to somebody in town, we have to build a welcoming community for people to help them, as in to welcome them to veganism. And we have to have some kind of follow up, check up strategy or process for if we talk to someone in town. Just an example, we talk to someone in town, we give them a flyer, we direct them to Challenge 22, and then we say, okay, have a nice day, goodbye. We have been talking to them for 20-30 minutes, and then we have a nice day. We're hoping you go vegan, or we shouldn't even be hoping. We have to have a strategy for where we can actually, guide them to go vegan. So then, they leave, but we have no idea then if they're going to go visit these links or not. So we have to have some kind of, I don't know. I don't know how. I'm not the person with all the ideas. I just know that, we have to have some kind of strategy in place, or, some kind of method for when we have left someone, when we leave someone in town, we have to have some kind of strategy for a follow-up process, maybe, a group on Facebook or a group on Instagram, or I don't know. We have to have something where we can guide them to and say, okay, after a week, then we can say, oh, we can, come back to that person or something and say, okay, so we talked to you last week, basically not act as salesmen, but follow up and say, okay, we met you in town, how's it going now, did you consider going vegan, did you visit the links, did you watch the documentary we shared with you, did you go into the groups, to the vegan groups that we have shared with you, we have to have some kind of follow-up process and ask them, how's it going? Otherwise, we're just in town talking to people and then sending them off by sending them on their day without knowing whether they decided to go vegan or not. So it's not we're not doing effective activism if we don't follow up, or if we don't direct these people to a community where they can be, welcome to veganism. My idea is basically, Facebook is kind of big with veganism when it comes to vegan groups. So basically, my idea is we should have a group, on Facebook for vegan outreaches where, where we can add people. We can tell someone, you can be talking to someone in town, we're doing vegan outreach, we're talking about veganism with them. We share a little bit of vegan food. We share some flyers with them. And then, when they go, we can say, oh, you know what you can do? You can, go into this vegan group. It's for new vegans. And there, I'm also in the group. All of us here, we're also in the group, and we would love, love to have you in the group where, we can share more information with you. We have to build a community to welcome people to veganism, because basically we have and this is just an idea, just a simple tip, and we can all come up with better ideas, but basically, we have to have a strategy in place, to welcome people to veganism. Otherwise, we're out talking to hundreds of thousands of people for over the years, as in globally, basically, as vegan activists. But then we have no idea if that person actually, when we leave them, we We have no idea if that person might throw away our flyers. You know, he walks for 10 minutes, and then when he sees that we can't see him, he throws away the flyers. You know, or when he goes home, he or she goes home, they forget everything we talked about. You know, that happens to me when I'm in town talking to, and someone stops me, a Christian stops me, or a Jehovah's Witness, or somebody with their political ideology, they stop me. You know, I don't want to be rude, so, you know, I'd be like, yeah, sure, I can listen. Then I might even be interested a little bit, and then I listen for, 2-3 minutes, and then when I go, after 5 minutes, I've forgotten everything that person has said. That person is not even in my mind anymore. And that's why we as vegans, when we're doing vegan outreach, how do we know? You know, we don't know, and that's the truth. You know, we don't know that these people, that these hundreds of thousands of people we have been talking to for years, we have no idea if they, after 5 minutes when they have left, we have no idea if these people even went, if these people considered going vegan, or if they visited the links that we went to, or if they even went into Challenge 22. You know, no idea, because we have no strategy in place. We have no method in place for following up and, you know, for checking up. And my tip is we should have a group, or a Facebook group, or even a real life group where we can say, okay, we've talked to someone now for 10 minutes. We've given them the flyers. We've directed them to Challenge 22. Now we're about to say goodbye to them. Now we have to guide them somewhere. We can say, oh, okay, we're having a meeting or a dinner party on Friday, or on Friday, would you like to come? Or, oh, we have a vegan group for new vegans, and where all of us here are in that group. We would love to add you to that group. You know, we have to have some kind of process, you know, for where we can welcome people to veganism. A welcoming community basically is what we have to be. You know, we have to create a welcoming community for people. Otherwise, you know, we're just talking to people for no reason. Well, not for no reason, but we're talking to people and then just letting them go without ever knowing what happened after that. And it's the same with vegan debates, you know. If we have vegan debates with people and then we film them and all that, we should have a follow-up process, you know. After a week or two, you know, contact the person and say, or add the people to a group or something and can't talk to them, find out. So what did you think about the debate? How's it going? Are you considering going vegan? Would you like to talk again some more? Or, you know, we have to have some kind of strategy in place for retaining, if I can say that, for keeping the people that we have already talked to. Because if somebody actually stops and listens to you during vegan outreach, somehow they're sort of interested. Even if they're not really interested, even if they're just trying to be nice, you know, they've stopped to listen and they've taken your information. But now you let them go, and then that's it. Nothing happens after that. So we have to have a strategy in place, you know, for basically retaining, for welcoming people to veganism, and for a follow-up process just to find out how's it going. You know, that person might might completely have forgotten you the next day or after 5 minutes. So yeah, we have to have some kind of strategy in place for checking up on people we have talked to and follow up and see how's it going. Otherwise, we're basically just talking to people and then letting them go without knowing without knowing what's going on, or without knowing if that person even considered going vegan.